I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And I'm John Milius, the Great. And if you believe that, he also believed there are Richard Simmons Jr.'s running around. I love it. This is good here. Dino De Laurentiis, bravo.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. He's 80 years old now. And Ed Pressman. I cannot believe that I got credit over James Earl Jones.
Between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and
I should make the comment that this was all supposed to be Arnold's narration. And I always thought it would be better as Arnold's narration. Because, but, you know, there were executives who will remain unnamed at Universal who didn't trust Arnold. They said, well, he has an accent. I said, of course he has an accent. That's why he's Arnold. And anyway, so they made us put this other narration. But think of the idea of how great it would be, some of those things.
But
oh, look, there's the sword.
I thought that's what we are going to do is take the Conan movie and redo it.
Do it right?
Do it right.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. I mean,
yeah, we should do that narration.
Exactly. Yeah, here's the making of the sword. This whole movie has to do with that. The sword,
steel.
The building of the sword, building the steel, and the character being like steel. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole idea was that there were going to be 3 Conan movies. It was going to be a trilogy, and the first one was strength, and that's why it is the building of the sword. The second one was how the sword is used, and the third was the consequences.
That's right.
Doesn't that sound good?
Very nice.
Look at that.
So I'm still waiting for you to write the second one. Or the third one in this case now.
Yeah, we'll have to do the third one. Look at that's a real piece of steel.
But it's like you always have compared the sword, the making of the sword, with the making of the character.
Yeah, that he must be hammered and forged, heated, quenched, especially quenched.
Exactly. Because the stronger it will get, right? The stronger the steel will get with all that, and the same is with the character. The more resistance that you give it, the more obstacles it can overcome.
Look at that. That's the real sword.
Now he's putting it in the snow.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah. Wonderful. Look. Raffaella De Laurentiis.
There, the oiled sword.
It's a great title sequence.
Yeah, it is. I really love the title sequence. I like it because it's so
John Milius.
essential, and I love this whole sequence.
Oh, this is establishing the village now.
Oh, no, this is, remember, what is steel? This is what the movie's about, too.
Fire and wind come from the sky, from the gods of the sky. But Crum is your god. Crum, and he lives in the earth. Once giants lived in the earth.
That's me when I was young.
Yeah. Looks just like you.
Exactly.
They fooled Crum, and they took from him the enigma of steel.
And it's fitting that he would be the father of Conan, isn't it?
And the earth shook.
William Smith.
I know.
Fire and wind struck down these giants, and they threw their bodies into the water.
He
was
was
an original bodybuilder, wasn't he?
he was a competitive bodybuilder. I remember when I was a kid, I used to look at the magazines, and he was in there flexing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was famous for his arms, wasn't he?
Yeah, his biceps and triceps, yeah.
Do you know he speaks like 17 different dialects of Russian and Uzbek and all of these Slavic languages? He's a great linguist. He worked for the CIA for years.
You must learn
Does the kid wear lipstick, or what is that? Or is
No,
this
that's just a kid.
That's funny.
Not men, not women, not beasts.
This you can trust. That was a tough kid. I remember that.
Oh, here's the attack now.
Yeah.
On the village, which was one of my favorite scenes in a movie. You know, is when you see them all walking around peacefully, taking care of, getting hunting and fishing.
Yeah. Ice fishing through a hole in the ice there.
Right, exactly.
Boy, was this cold. Remember,
was
remember
it
how
ever?
cold?
I saw you had more Eddie Bauer jackets on than
Yeah.
anyone that I've ever seen.
Look at armored Rottweilers.
I know.
Isn't that great?
The music is great here.
Yeah. This is all shot in Spain. This actually was shot right near where Hemingway's story For Whom the Bell Tolls takes place. The
Here's
bridge.
Franco. Look at him.
Yeah, look at Franco. He looks like he's a Pictish warrior. Look at that great tattoo job, huh? I bet he wishes he still had that tattoo.
Oh, that's great shot with the sun coming through. Oh yeah, that's wild. Look at that.
Look at that, yeah.
See, I thought the lighting and everything was so well done. Look at that attack with Thulsa Doom in the front with his helmet.
Look at how
And they're
innocent
now
and
smelling
sweet
it.
these people look. Yeah, this was right. This was right near the bridge that they blew up in For Whom the Bell Tolls, the real bridge. During the course of the shooting here, there was an attempted coup by the Guardia Civil, and the Spanish Civil War almost started again.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. And the
Yeah.
tanks rolled out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh look. It's. I like those horses going over.
Look at this slaughter. You had to cut out a lot of things here, right?
Well,
Because
not
it
really.
was. Here's Sven with the hammer.
Yeah.
Because I remember that they said it was too violent and all that stuff.
Yeah, though I didn't have to cut out too much. I mean, what's good is you get the sense of, look at that, crushing the guy's helmet.
There's Ben Davidson, right?
Yeah. Look at that sword break. See, the whole idea of making these things violent is just show the impact of things. You don't show
No,
where
I
the
know,
jump
I know.
starts. And before you get away from it, something else is going on.
I remember all those guys practicing horseback riding in the snow, and the slippery horses and everything. Everyone was
yeah.
crashing and falling. Whatever happened to Ben Davidson?
He's around somewhere. Look at, what a way to go. Eaten by armored Rottweilers.
I know.
Remember the guy, the dog handler, he was afraid of those dogs.
Look at that. That is such a wild scene. The whole place is burning down.
Now you're sure they're going to spare her because she's so beautiful. You know, the two of them would anyway.
Now look at Sven.
They're looking saying, I'm sure we could find some use for this woman.
Sorry.
I love their long hair.
They could not masturbate me at all, master. And you said, no. That's not the line.
She's gorgeous. She was a Spanish actress. I forget her name, but she was a wonderful actress. She was very good. All this stuff, they made, plastic heads and things like that, and none of that stuff really worked that well. It's better just not to really see it. Of course, there's Thulsa Doom, and he's above beauty and grace and lust. He's just into the purity of destruction.
See, here's the hypnotizing that he does. Look at it. She's totally hypnotized. Then she separates her neck, kind of like she gives him a place. Look at that. It's total hypnosis. Look at that.
And he has a kind expression at the end.
You see that? He's totally hypnotized. And that's what he did to me in the end. Watch her neck getting longer. And he's looking, it's great. The
See
boy's
how
looking exactly.
sort of like he's pitying them because they are not as strong as he. And therefore, they must go.
Look at her neck separating. Look at that. Do you see that?
I always like it that he doesn't look at her, he looks at his hand, because that's all that's left. And he looks at the blade because steel is true.
He's looking at him now carefully. We shall meet again.
I just think James Earl Jones was so interesting, because he has this great voice and presence and everything. But also I wanted him to look like, I love the idea of reversing anthropology, that he comes from a race that had been there before them. That he's dark skin, blue eyes, straight hair, that he looks like, I don't know what. There was a character, I think, named Thulsa Doom, but I don't remember. I think the character of Thulsa Doom was in Cull. I took bits and pieces from everything. Look at that, you can see forever. Those are those mountains for whom the bell tolls, very bitterly fought over during the Spanish Civil War. Because I knew how to operate pretty well in Spain, having made Wind and the Lion there. And we originally were going to shoot this in Yugoslavia, actually in Bosnia, and part of it in Kosovo.
Well, here's the Wheel of Pain coming up now.
Yeah. This is great. This place is called Avila. And it really looks like Afghanistan, doesn't it? I mean, it really looks like you're as far away from anything as you could possibly be.
What was the reason? I mean, I cannot remember now after all these years. What was the reason of the Wheel of Pain? What
they're grinding grain,
Grinding grain, okay. And the grain was for food and all that stuff, yeah, okay. And where were they getting the grain from? I mean, was there...
Probably some little fields all in the area around here somewhere. They all had some grain in the valleys and stuff. See, but it's a real, you can see the wheels in there grinding. It actually did work.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I remember when we were shooting that, and then we shot the winter scenes. I remember when you sent Terry Leonard and me up there.
That was great. And I remember you were in this little, I remember sending in this little bitty truck.
Yeah.
And to shoot all of these different changing of seasons and stuff.
Yeah, this guy's the grease guy. He greases the wheel from the top, yeah. And here now the guy's getting older and older, which is a great scene. Now the next shot, you see people are falling apart, and then you see the empty cuffs.
Originally we were going to have bones in the empty cuffs, but they thought that was a little too much.
He is like a 15-year-old now. It's me.
He's getting strong, you know.
And I'm the only one left.
Yeah.
This is true. That's where the Nietzsche thing comes in. That does not kill you.
This is true survival. Natural selection. Survival of the fittest. Everybody wants that. They want to know that they will be selected to become strong. Everybody wants to push at the wheel of pain and become Arnold.
I remember that people were screening in Las Vegas. Remember when we were watching the movie at the test screening and my head came up. It was such a great reaction.
Well, he screamed throughout this whole thing. I like it here that he's really calm and like he's used to the wheel. It's his wheel now.
Exactly.
He is the wheel. He's learned the lesson.
And here's the guy that buys me now for to be a pit fighter, right?
Yeah.
He's going to train me to be a pit fighter, which is terrific. Look at those horses also with the short neck. This Spanish horses, huh?
Yeah.
They like
Andalusian.
Andalusian.
Yeah, Andalusians. I love it that this guy's obviously passed this way many times and admired the wheel and the guy, you know.
So now what happens now, according to the story, the wheel is empty.
The wheel is empty. They'll have to get a bunch of kids now to push it again, you know, and start over again.
Right.
And you have no idea now what is going to happen. He figures the first test, he won't tell you anything. You'll just have to, there's your opponent waiting for the crowd to come.
That's right. I forgot that.
See how they're always on lazy Susans?
Yeah.
Pit fighters are always carried around from place to place on a lazy Susan.
Oh, and here's at night.
Yeah.
At night they get together and they're betting.
Yeah.
Like in the gladiator fights.
Right. This
like
is sort
a race track.
Right. This is sort of a low-grade pit fight, you know. Not a lot of money, not big stakes. But this guy has sharpened teeth.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I like it all the way that you're totally innocent here. You have no idea. You've never had any kind of fight with anybody, you know, so you don't know what's going on. All you can rely on is animal reaction.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember now. That guy was biting me seriously, huh?
Yeah. It's like a beast or something, you know.
Then I break his arm.
Right.
Yeah. See here.
Look at, there's nothing slick about that fight. It's just...
No. Just the pounding him with the head and then breaking his head. Boom. So he was gone. They're all screaming and all that stuff. I remember the amount of rehearsal we did on those pit fights because they all had kind of like
the whole thing about
weird weapons and all that stuff.
The whole thing about this sequence is it goes from that innocence to brutality to being a trained killer to actually almost a grace by the end that he has become totally at peace with the violence of his world.
Exactly. It was total like with no emotions, just hacking away. Look at his blood spilling out.
enjoys it. Because one of the things about Conan that's good
this is great with the axe.
Is that Conan is like us all. He has a dark side. He has faults. I mean, he loves combat.
Now I'm enjoying it already.
Yeah, he loves the exaltation of victory. And I always said, remember, in victory there's always a sense of emptiness.
Exactly.
So he has this expression of emptiness. Look at this at the end here. Now watch, he has total sense of emptiness.
Remember the scene that we cut out with the woman?
Isn't that great? Yeah.
With the woman.
That was Soralo. That was my secretary.
The woman's head off. It was your secretary, and you said, "Do it really well."
And she was good too. See how he's on a lazy Susan? Now he was so good that he's sent to the east.
Oh, here's Yamasaki.
Become the prize of all pit fighters. Yeah, you'll get yours.
Exactly. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's funny. He was laughing. He didn't laugh long.
Oh, this is wonderful, where he's bred to the finest stock.
He's got the woman. Yeah, I forgot. It's amazing that after you see this for so long.
This scene is really real. This woman was really scared when she was put in here, and you were great because you didn't let her. You didn't even try. You never said anything to her or anything. You never let her get relaxed. She didn't know what to think, and you never said a thing the whole day to her. She didn't know what to do, And
I remember how I had to train always to stay in that kind of a shape. Remember, every day we were working out with the weights.
Yeah.
2 hours a day at nights, and then practicing the stunts and all that stuff.
I love that he just smiles there, But she was so scared. She didn't know what to think. Yeah. She thought, my God, what is this?
Look at the midnight training.
Yeah. I love that. That's a great sequence. That particular training sequence.
Exactly.
Remember he had a name for that routine or something.
Exactly. Oh, he's so in heaven, this guy.
Yeah.
He's sending me all over the world to be trained.
It is a great scene.
The crush your enemies, see them driven before
There's Akio.
We won again! This is good. But what is best in life? The open steppe, fleet horse, falcons at your wrist.
He was good. Falcons.
Yeah.
Wind in your hair. Wrong! Conan, what is best in life?
Here it is.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
That's it, boy. By the time you get to this point in the movie, that hooks you.
Exactly.
That makes you say,
because
I want to be
now we
like
saw
him.
the making of Conan.
Right.
Yeah.
And after he says that, you just sit there and say, I want to be like him.
He just woke me up, now he lets me loose, huh?
Yeah, because he can't keep you any longer. He realizes he's benefited. And you kind of don't want to be let loose because you don't know anything else. You are free! And you don't know what freedom is. Freedom is the wolves.
It has been surmised that perhaps my lord was like a wild animal that had been...
He looks like Moses here.
Yeah.
That's great.
Freedom.
He's really sad because he has nothing else.
And here comes the wolf scene now, remember?
Oh, yeah, these wolves were really...
yeah, when the wolf attacks me, look at it, here it is.
Once these dogs got running, they really wanted to get you. every time you got up on those rocks,
Yeah,
they really
exactly.
wanted to get you.
So
you
here it
know?
is. And then those guys were like jumping after me. And here it was the... Remember
that?
the one
Oh,
time
yeah.
when I couldn't make it to the top
Oh,
because
yeah,
I
they
missed
grabbed-
the rock, and they were pulling me down and were dragging me around down there, and I
Oh,
fell
they
on
grabbed
that
you
rock.
by that. Oh, you remember this when you fell down and you hit something and you
Yeah,
were
exactly.
bleeding, and you said, "Look, I'm bleeding, real blood." I said, "Leave it. It looks great."
And I got my first stitches before it was noon.
I love all this stuff. These are Atlanteans. This was an Atlantean general that was put in there with his harem. When he died,
It is
they chained
when I
all
learned
of
how to make fire.
them. But all this stuff looks so
So
good,
skull,
doesn't
dead people. That is a and then one of the skeletons started moving.
it? Yeah, that's the spirit of the general, the great Atlantean general who is watching. He's like 8 feet tall.
Exactly. There he is sitting. I remember when we shot that scene. That was pretty much later on in the movie when we shot
Yeah,
that.
this
right?
was this is a scene. Remember where I was sick, and I was
You
in
were
another room.
directing.
Yeah, I was directing with the loudspeaker, with the
Yeah,
from the-
exactly. I remember now. You were directing from the trailer.
Yeah, and I had a fever and everything. And I thought I was breaking new ground directing from a trailer. Then I read a thing that Francis was directing a movie from a bathtub.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah. He never got out of his trailer. He was in the bathtub directing the movie. And I was directing from the next room in a cot. I thought I was doing something special. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Really looks old. I mean,
I know.
Wonderful floor effects, you know.
Oh, this is when I steal the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And I sneak up to it.
Now there's a shot in here, remember, where I operated the camera. I only did it once just to see if I could do it.
Right.
I never wanted to do it again because it isn't a very good shot.
I know.
I think it's this one.
Oh, yeah, now I'm cleaning off the dirt. I loved that scene. I loved acting it out. It was really a lot of fun, you know, to get into it. What it
Yeah.
would be like to find your own sword now.
I love
The
all this.
joy of it, having your own sword, and which is my means of protection and my killing device and all that, you know. And then the guy all of a sudden moves because his sword was taken on by someone else.
Yeah. And you don't know
Watch this.
whether he really moved or whether it's just...
Yeah,
that he's finished
he's
now.
finished now. Yeah,
He's...
Crom. Now I can move on.
I love the salute to the sword. It's a steel.
Yeah, it's great.
I like this where he looks down, he sees the dogs, cuts his chains, sees the dogs, and the next scene, he's wearing them.
Oh yeah. That is funny. Oh, this is when I get to know the Wolf Witch.
Yeah.
Which was another great scene.
Yeah.
You know, the way she looks sexy and seductive, and then she seduces me into this, into her little thing, and then all of a sudden I get attacked by her, and her fangs come out, her nails grow, and
she turns into a ball of fire.
Exactly.
You throw her in the fire, and she turns into a ball of fire.
See the way I carry the sword, huh? Remember in the beginning, I carried the sword like that to have it ready at any given time for... It's like a samurai.
Yeah.
Totally like a samurai.
There's warmth and fire. Do you not wish to warm yourself by my fire?
Look how great she looks. She looks so primitive, you know.
I know. She was just at Cigar Night last week.
Really?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
She still looks great.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
She never has changed.
She was really good in this scene. She moved, you know. I remember in the script it said that she moves slightly ahead of her shadow. And that's the way she does. She sort of moves slightly ahead of her shadow.
Remember the leather outfit?
Yeah, that there's
she
something...
She barely could move in it.
Yeah. It's always something slightly ahead of her shadow. One time when somebody was talking when the movie came out, some woman was talking to you and she said, well, that was a pretty hot scene. And you said, you know, even for me, that doesn't happen every time.
Yeah, she was great the way she did the seduction and the hypnotizing and drawing me into the whole thing.
Love it. Did you see the one eye, you know?
What is it you seek?
A standard.
Yeah, she's really good here.
A symbol. Perhaps on a shield. Two snakes coming together.
Black sun.
Facing each other.
Two coming together.
Yeah, two fists coming together.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, yeah, this is when I was searching for Thulsa Doom.
Right.
Have you seen him around here? And she says, I will give you the information. Afterwards.
Yeah.
Zamora.
Yeah. Zamora. Go to Zamora.
Remember that we had this English
script
supervisor.
It was a sound man, and he got quite taken with this scene. All that we were thinking about was the special effects, how cold it was in there, and this guy was getting his jollies. I love this. Look at how she turns right now. It's like everything goes cold, and then her eyes change, and ooh, look at that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how many times does that happen to you or me, huh?
Oh yeah. Look at that. She's turning wild. I know, we don't have those effects on women. Look at that, the wind, she's scratching.
Oh, look at those eyes, that's great. I love it, she turns into a ball of flame and just goes whipping around the room.
These were kind of the days of the first visual effects.
Yeah.
Huh?
God, that's a good scene.
Crom. Unbelievable.
Isn't this a great place? Look at this. This was Cuenca, where these strange rock formations were to the south of Madrid. Look at that great rock thing there.
It was a fantastic scenery. I mean, this is nowhere where you could have shot scenes like that looked more primitive and more prehistoric than this area was. But that's where I met Jerry Lopez.
And who says you will?
Give me food, so I have strength when the wolves come. Let me die.
Figured that he'd been seduced by the wolf witch and was being kept for food.
I know.
Who are you?
I am Subutai. thief and archer. I am Hakenian, the Great Order of Kurlet.
So what are you doing here?
A thief and archer.
Dinner for wolves.
I think it was such a great idea to hire him, to hire Jerry Lopez, because he was like, he looked so believable in this thing, being a world champion surfer, being always outside, being a guy in touch with nature and all that.
And he has he had these wonderful eyes, that I remember when I was casting for this, all the people that came in they all looked like Jerry. I said, why not just get Jerry?
Exactly.
Just as I've always said.
He's strong.
And we're just good. I love this whole theology here about God looking down and being amused by valor. That you cannot complain because Crom is strong on his mountain.
Exactly.
And he laughs about it because his God is the sky, which witnesses everything.
He is the everlasting sky. Your God lives underneath him.
Ah, that's funny. Now I'm thinking, maybe he's right. Maybe he has a point.
But
now we are running.
yeah, I love these.
Look at the mountains. Looks like Afghanistan,
Yeah,
huh?
it really does. I love this music right here. Look at the clouds there. Now part of this is a foreground miniature.
Yeah, no, I know.
And so look how good that looks. Doesn't that
It's
look fabulous?
unbelievable.
Let's waste no time.
Yeah, it's just a little miniature.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
the
extraordinary
walls are
because
there.
it looks totally believable.
Yeah. Look how good this one looks. This village and all.
Huge. That's where I see isn't that where I see the camel?
Yeah, that's coming up.
Yeah. Look
Remember,
at
that
the
was my
frogs.
scene. That was my scene that I cut out. I did something no actor can do. I cut myself out, where I was selling lizard on a stick.
Oh, that's what it was. Lizards on a stick.
Yeah, under the golden tusks. Look at this.
Maybe entering the walls.
Yeah, look at that great building up there. God, they look good.
Yeah. They're totally holding up the day. And
Looking for steel. Yeah, they really do hold up today. don't they?
absolutely. So no one wants to tell me we are
Thulsa Doom.
Thulsa Doom.
Here's
yeah.
Ron Cobb.
Together over black sun.
He's selling.
Oh yeah.
He's selling Black Lotus.
The only snakes I know of are those of Set and those cursed towers. They have spread to every city. 2-3 years ago, it was just another
Ron
snake
Cobb
house.
was the art director
Everywhere.
and production designer.
They murder
and-
people in the night. I know nothing.
He knows nothing. He says he knows nothing, but he knows everything.
Exactly.
Because
now
he-
he's giving them something.
Selling him
Look at
some
it,
dope.
and that's dope, exactly. We get so stoned.
Yeah.
This better not be Haga.
I would sell Haga to a slayer such as you.
Now they're
Now we're totally drunk, huh?
deep into hallucinogenic. They're on acid now.
He's dead already.
Eating Black Lotus. Look at that. God knows what that guy is doing to a llama.
Oh, that's for sure.
I like it. It just took a while to fall over.
Oh, that's funny.
And now they're all
Now they're all
embarrassed.
looking, they're all thinking, now what the hell is going on with this guy?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
embarrassed. Let's get out of here.
I remember shooting
They're
certain
gonna
scenes
eat
very
more
well.
blood. I love this that Conan is such a. Even today they give you trouble about this. That Conan goes and gets stoned, doesn't know where he's going. He's kind of he's got a different side to him than heroes, normally in these movies ever have, Now this thing here, this is the real tower, and we built this tower. We didn't have to build it. Normally, they just build it on its side, so that actors would just walk up the side of it, and then they print it so that it looked like they're going straight up. But we actually have them going up with the ropes. Ooh, look at that great
this
leg.
was a great moment, because this is the moment where I meet for the first time Sandal.
Look how
Valeria. Her
Look
name
how
was
great
Valeria.
Sandal looks.
Look
Wow.
at that. The way she moves and all that stuff. And I'm trying to figure out who she is and what is she doing.
I love her character in here because it's not the usual girl in one of these movies. You know that she can kill any one of them.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And she's the real thing, she really moves well. Look at her eyes. She has wonderful flaring eyes and wonderful arrogance in her face. That's a real tower. I mean, they're really climbing up that thing.
Yeah, no. It was terrific, but it was great because we immediately
It's made of
kind
rope.
of joined forces.
Yeah.
Her being part of the team and me and Jerry. So this is how I slowly started picking up all my buddies, the trio.
But look at how you can tell that they're really doing that.
Yeah. Well, she was very athletic. Remember how she climbed up this thing?
Oh, yeah.
She
Look at that,
we
look at
did
that.
around 8 takes or 10 takes of this climbing thing with different lenses and all the stuff you did. And
She has this wonderful lightness on her feet, because from being a fabulous dancer and everything, but
Do you want to live forever?
now we're going to climb down. Now this is the temple. It's not really the big temple that we were going to afterwards. This is just where all the orgies take place and all that stuff.
this is like a local part of this cult.
Remember when Terry Leonard did this fall through those things? Huh?
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he hit his heel and he broke his leg.
Yeah. That was the first time he ever got hurt.
Yeah. Besides the other times.
Yeah.
I mean, while I was down there, he was getting hurt by the horse run over and all that stuff. It was wild. Look how beautiful she looks, huh?
God, she looks just gorgeous.
And remember, she always was freaking out over her hair. Because she had thin hair. And she was like all hours and hours beforehand. She was always fixing her hair and dry blowing the hair.
Look at that great expression.
Yeah.
Stink.
Yeah, exactly. Now comes the little attack.
I like this, that you see this novitiate here or something, and she comes up behind her and just stands there. Then the next time you see her, what has happened?
Oh, here's the scene
There's
with the
the
giant
snake. Yeah, that's the big, great
Yeah,
big
and the guy couldn't get that snake.
Yeah,
Remember,
the
the guy
mechanical
couldn't get the
snake wouldn't
snake
go
in
into
there.
this place because look how it's
And,
built. It's all stone and everything. I mean, that
Yeah.
he really built these sets.
Well, what makes the whole story so believable also is because the sets are built
Look
so
at-
authentic.
Yeah, they really were. I mean, they really were beautifully done. Ron Cobb designed everything so, thoroughly to have echoes of architecture that really existed. Aztec, Chinese.
Who was this woman now again?
That's
one of the victims?
Yes, this is a.
Oh, here's now I'm trying to get over it.
She's a sacrificial lamb. There, she looks like a lamb.
Oh, yeah, she's totally hypnotized. And we are trying to find the stone. And now the snake's eye opens up. Here it opens up. And he has the bow and the arrow ready. But we don't know yet that it is moving.
No. We don't know that it's alive. A terrible waste to throw her over, huh?
I would say.
And now he sees, there it is. I still have that at home, that thing.
This is a great scene when I realized that I'm in the right place with the symbol of Thulsa Doom. Here's
Now
the
see,
snake.
that's the mechanical snake there. That's
And it
all.
moves
That's about
beautiful.
all. Yeah, that's about all it would do though, because we could only show the front of it. Couldn't get the rest of it in. See how it raises up. But that, look at how good this is. See, that's all. The other, the just the non-mechanical, the rubber snake with the ropes on it. Look at that. And it really looks good.
Yeah. She's going into trance. Major trance. Look at that fight scene.
Oh, there was the arrow going over your shoulder. Woo! Look at how he
Here's
cuts
the
us.
thing.
Wow, that was great.
That was
great.
the one. That was the scene I remember when I was having to practice to find that explosive device inside the snake that will explode and the blood shooting out and the head severing from the snake and all that.
And it did it, and all worked
rehearsed
just
that move
perfectly.
over and over and over. And then you had to catch the sword at mid-air and all that. Oh, now she jumps.
And he is really pissed because somebody's messed with his snake. They killed his snake.
Oh yeah, this is the big tunnel that we went.
Uh-oh, who's that? She cuts the bowstring, stabs the guy, uses him as a counterweight, and there goes Terry down the shaft.
Yeah, that is exactly. He went down the shaft.
And
This
Sandal
is when
going
he-
up.
That's when he started dating Sandler, remember? And
Oh,
he wanted
yeah.
to show some extra moves and hurt himself. Oh, look at that pool. Wait a minute. This is better than the Four Seasons. Oh,
I
this I
love this
remember
scene.
her too.
Yeah, I remember
That is
her.
so funny to see this moment. Here's like the big tavern. Or what do you call this? A mess hall? Or what do you call
this
it?
is just a tavern.
Look at Jerry Lopez's hairstyle. What happened to him there? Now they look at the diamonds. And she's also a thief. She's about to grab all my stuff. Oh, no, it's the seduction. Even then, in this prehistoric times, women were already in the jewelry, huh?
Yeah. And he's teasing her with it.
So now with that
But-
big rock, what was it, a ruby? Or what was it?
It
What
was the
angle?
eye of the serpent.
The eye of the serpent, okay. You see, look.
And they have untold wealth and power now.
See, you're already in love. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Little stone.
Nice little yurt to go to.
Where did we find that place again? What's this, the background again? I forgot now.
What, this place? Right
This
here?
place, like right now, where we make love.
That's like a Mongolian yurt.
Oh, so it's not her place or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
they just... Remember, they rent it from somebody or something. the earlier scene we took out, really.
I was getting laid a lot in this movie.
I know.
It was amazing. From the Wolf Witch.
I know.
To the Princess, to the Queen of Thieves. And Valeria.
Not a bad life for Conan, huh?
But look at it. Remember, she was like totally sweating and oiled up. Huh? It was a great scene, actually, I have to say, because it was done really tastefully. It doesn't show anything, really.
No.
But I remember we shot it one day, and you told the closed set.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about Conan. I mean, I didn't read Conan comic books or anything else. And actually, Oliver Stone brought it to me. And he had written a script, none of which we used, but it was all kind of inspirational. He introduced me to Ed Pressman. And I started reading. They said, well, you should have read Conan. I mean, it's your kind of thing and everything. And I really got to kind of like it. And we took the whole thing to Dino. And I was going to do another movie for Dino. And we decided to do this one instead.
Just, just with the chicken in the mouth still, remember how you were like saying, this has to all look a little bit primitive.
Yeah, I love it here where she looks terribly worried because she's never had anything. And she's afraid of happiness. I love this. This is the scene Dino wanted me to take out so badly because he said, they don't look dignified here. And the idea is great that they aren't dignified. They have money and they're totally drunk and besotted with power and like anybody.
He was worried about dignified?
Yeah, he says, well,
That's
Conan
funny.
doesn't look dignified there. I said, who cares? That's what, that they're just going and buying stuff.
Spanking her butt.
Using all of the...
Oh, we are trying out. We have all these shoes. That's right.
Trying out all of the...
This is a scene where we get drunk.
Look at that. I love that.
It's like an Alka-Seltzer commercial.
Yeah, he couldn't stand that. Dino couldn't stand that we should make Conan so undignified that he falls in a soup. And then she really looks great here because she looks totally done and sotted. Not a lot of help there.
I liked it how they always on cue put the visors down in front of the eyes. I remember when you had them all trained for hours to get all this military kind of gestures down. But look at the sets. Ron Kopp did such a fantastic job with designing
this set
everything.
has a real Viking motif, all of the logs and all this stuff.
Here's Max von Sydow.
I love it. The lions ate him.
Yeah, Max von Sydow played the king.
The lions ate him?
Oh, yeah, look at him. The lions ate him? Exactly, that's what he said. Yeah.
Look at the logs. Look at those great, huge logs and all those kind of
trying
tapestries.
to behave now. And I'm trying to correct. Remember, I always try to correct Jerry Lopez because I always would screw up. Yeah. We embarrassed that we were caught. It's outrageousness.
I salute you.
He's a very warm face, huh?
Yeah.
Falsa doom. I've chafed for years at this
He's a wonderful actor.
snakes in my beautiful city.
I love all the accoutrements in that set. Look at all that great Viking stuff.
Snakes. Everywhere these evil towers. You alone have stood up to their gods. And what are you? Thieves.
Just thieves. Look how great Sandal looks there.
Oh, I know. Oh, he's giving us something.
I saw Sandal first in the Bob Fosse movie, All That Jazz. And I said, that's the girl, you know. Then I asked Bob Fosse, and he recommended other ones. But
I still have this dagger.
You have
the
that?
one he just had in hand, yeah.
Yeah?
I have that.
In her hand for me. She follows him as a slave.
Here he throws it in.
For the truth of her soul. As if I could not give it to her.
There. Thunk.
That is great. He was so, I mean, I remember this was like, he was the one that I acted before James Earl Jones with. And so he was like really the first incredible kind of dramatic actor I worked with. Mm-hmm. And when I saw him being on like that, and the way he rewrote the lines and then worked on it, and then wrote them out differently again, and then he consulted with you and sat there with you and all that. Remember he walked around with a sweater, totally different than you would see him in a movie, and worked on it. And then I watched his performance. It was like staggering how loud he could scream, how well he projected the scene and everything like this. I mean, to me, that was true inspiration. I knew how far one can go with his acting.
I love this. The gold loses its luster.
The throne room becomes a prison. And all that is left is a father's love for his child.
This was her big scene, in which she was very afraid to do this, and she did this so well.
His followers' only purpose is to die in his service. Thousands of them. This mountain of power where he lives is said to be impregnable. I have talked to Subutai and he agrees. Let's take what we have while we live.
When I saw Sandal, I fell in love. I mean, Sandal is a Valkyrie.
Where is she now?
I saw her about a year ago. She looked great, but she's a Valkyrie.
All my life I've been alone. Many times I face my death with no one to know. I would look into the huts.
Here's when Conan is turning soft.
Dark, and I would see figures holding each other in the night.
All of a sudden, he has to listen to the women problems.
Yeah, you listen to
He's
women,
not anymore in the pit.
But he's not going to listen completely. I love it because she's telling him, you know, let's just take the jewels and go, you know, because she is a thief. She finally has something.
She's talking here. Why didn't you do a close-up on her when she was talking there?
Because I wanted just to stay. I had enough on before, and I wanted to see him. I wanted to always see his reaction, because watch. So that you know he's going to... You know that he's not going to go.
Exactly. Here the candle is out. She thinks I'm still there. I remember that. And then all of a sudden she's freaking out that I'm gone.
But she does it really nicely. See, this is really a nice scene. But he's left her the stone.
Now she's going to put it around the neck, right?
Yeah, later.
Yeah. It's a very emotional scene. I remember she did really well with that.
Yeah.
She was crying and all that. Now I'm off by myself. Look at the outfits that
Isn't
they
that a
wore,
wonderful outfit?
Look at the chain.
Yeah.
What do you call it? The
chainmail.
Chainmail, yeah, exactly. Look at those scenes with the riding in, and that's when we went in to shoot in Almeria, right? Yeah, look at that.
I love the outfit, the helmet, and everything here because it has such an Eastern look, you know? It's like a Turkoman or a Magyar or something.
I'm asking everyone, have you ever seen this symbol? And everyone is afraid of saying yes.
Everything's thought out, you know, that on that outfit, where the sword is, all the things.
Oh yeah, this is when they carry the sword. Well, most of the time I carry the sword on my back, like here.
Look at these. I
Yeah,
love
these are the worshippers.
the worshippers of doom, hippies.
They told my lord the way to the mountain of power. They told him to throw down his sword and return to the earth. Ha!
Look at this area, huh?
Yeah, these
It's spectacular. But this is
these
the great thing
flowers.
about Spain. You just have such a great variety of winter, summer, desert, water. I mean, you have everything there that you want.
I love this area here. I love when he's crossing this like tidal flat here.
Yeah. And I
Looks
also
like
was very
Russia,
lucky
doesn't it?
that I had such a terrific horse. Remember we
Yeah,
used
it was a
we picked
wonderful
that horse that was short, so it could turn really fast on a dime.
Yeah.
And the practicing that I had to do with that
And
horse.
it was never, you know, upset. That horse was always, you know, was never jumping around in front of the camera.
Remember how many times I had to practice crossing this lake there?
Oh, yeah.
It just didn't want to go in there for an hour. I walked it slowly. I walked it closer and closer. Oh, this is this. Wow. Oh, I remember now this scene also. When they come down.
This was a spooky scene, remember? We shot it at the end of the day, and it really did have this weird effect, you know, of going through this stuff with the skeletons. Remember that? Then the other place the horse didn't want to walk through here or something.
This stone in the back is the altar where you burned Valeria, right?
Yeah, that's the altar.
Yeah. Oh, look at those creatures. That's funny.
It was here that I met my master. It was no accident, nor is it mere chance that I am the teller.
Trying to investigate now. Here's what's his name? I met here.
Mako.
Mako, exactly. Yeah, he's funny.
I'm a wizard, mind you. This place is kept by powerful gods and spirits of kings. On my flesh, and you will have to deal with the dead.
Can you summon demons, wizard?
Yes! I strike at you. I would summon a demon more ferocious.
So what happened? How did you find him?
Well, I saw him in a stage play, actually, and I really liked him because he had a very, very theatrical presence. You know, he was, you know, bigger than life, and I felt this guy really had to be this character and not just come off as, you know, he had to be this really bigger than life character.
Right. Look at that shot.
And he has a lot of stuff that he explains, so it has to be really good. He has to be real clear. Yeah, though he wasn't supposed to be originally the narrator. Arnold was supposed to narrate the whole thing. There's very little narration, of course. But it was...
Well, they didn't have the confidence in me yet that I could pull it off and that,
but
everyone would understand me. Remember, there was the big fight, you know, can anyone understand my accent? And if you overload it with information, that if someone misses it, then they don't know what the story is about.
Yeah, though to me what was so great about it was with you narrating it, it has a wonderful humor.
Right.
That it misses otherwise. You know, I was fed well in living the life of an athlete, you know.
Yeah.
There's that wonderful Arnold kind of humor in it.
What was the line with the sandals threaded? Sit on the ground with me, for you are but the leavings of my age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I love this.
Funny. Yeah, this thing, I mean, I barely could get up. That was so funny to figure out how to steer this camel.
Yeah.
how to make it walk, and he always walked with my head right into those beams right there. Remember, I could not figure out how can you make a camera make a little bit of wider turn when it goes around that thing. Look at the jerky moves it makes. I mean, the amount of times that I almost felt like falling off.
Oh, look at these guys getting high. We had actually more extras here than any other time. We had 1,500 extras.
Really? Yeah, they're all getting ready for the big
For
event.
their great spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the evil spiritual enlightenment.
Look at there's the place way up there.
That's great, right on that hill.
That is
fantastic. Imagine what this costs a day in construction if you would rebuild all that. Huh? What would it be?
They would try and do it all with computerized stuff, you know.
But it wouldn't look as real, huh?
No, never look right like that. I mean,
look at me sleeping there. I mean, that is funny. With the flowers. Trying to sneak in with flowers and look innocent. There is someone I recognize.
Yeah.
Sylvia.
Yes. Celia is my ex-wife. She's one of the two, and the other one is Ron Cobb's wife. The tall one is Ron Cobb's wife.
John has two.
There's Celia. See, she's giving out all the stuff.
John has two lifetime partners. One is the RIS and the other one is Celia. Oh, look at this guy. He was hilarious. Look at how he's touching me. Are you pure? Isn't he saying that? Are you? Let's see if you're
You're
pure.
so big and so well grown.
How do you expect to reach emptiness without knowing your own body?
Yes, without knowing your own body. We talk over there. I think this is a homophobic scene. But then again, it's just anti-Thulsa Doom.
Exactly.
The evil priest. This guy's great. He has a great look. I've seen him in other movies, this guy. He was very, very good.
Is this your rope? Priest's rope?
Yes, it's all I have.
That's a funny scene.
That's all you'll ever need.
That is too much. The flowers come
Then
off.
I love this. When you see him, it's just wonderful.
Yeah, walking around like
sure.
an Austrian farmer.
Right.
Look
Peace.
at that, trying to sell the idea that I'm sophisticated and that I'm spiritual. That is
Look at all
funny.
these people.
Oh yeah, I remember you had a lot, and they're all going in line.
Look how far the line goes, all the way up there.
Oh God, that is true. These are all real people?
Yeah.
Oh, and here we have to show our passports.
And you see, he gives the word that something is wrong. He shouldn't have that.
Oh, here it is. It was amazing that it held all these people.
Look at that. That's right out of Leni Riefenstahl.
That was an extraordinary set. Really spectacular. Now this is where they find me.
Boy, I'll tell you, those are a lot of steps to climb up every day. Everybody was very happy when we burned that set. Look at how big those guys are. They're just, I mean, you can just tell. They're just, I mean, huge. Well, no, one's a football player, and the other, Sven, is a bodybuilder, but Sven's not really a bodybuilder. He just sort of grew that way.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like a tree.
Well, he's just a naturally big guy.
Yeah.
The idea was, remember, that you were very adamant to have everyone around me, all my enemies, be much bigger than I was, because he didn't want to signal that I will be the winner in the end if there's a battle.
Right.
He wanted to, that's why you hired everyone that to be 6'5". We looked through Europe for a month. We had meetings in Munich and Berlin.
to find people
in the
who
Nordic
are,
countries, to find those guys that are monsters, get in touch with all the lifters.
see
the
that
power
guy
lifters.
right there, Eric. He's the same size, and he doesn't look. He doesn't look like a fitting opponent.
Right.
You got to get to have an opponent for Arnold. The guy has to be huge. And these guys really were. They were just, I mean, Sven is like 6'5", and
Or James Earl Jones is 6'4".
Yeah.
Mike Svancita is 6'4", so everyone was huge. Oh, this is the French girl now,
yeah.
right?
I saw her in a movie that Willard Hike made, and I liked her. And then she was also, I'm trying to think of what other, she was in some other movie, and I liked her. She had a very interesting quality, she was very sensual and kind of sexy, but kind of rebellious and lost at the same time. She seemed perfect for that.
It's the big speech.
He already knows that he's there.
He knows that I'm there?
Yeah, and he instead of making the big speech, he just has them seize you.
Who among you still fears death? Who will not face emptiness?
He wants this to be an example.
Now I remember.
That an example be made of the infidel.
Remember the way, it's amazing. Look at her with the snakes. See how she holds the snakes?
Yeah. Everybody's afraid of snakes, and yet snakes are always sort of mystical. In all religions, snakes play kind of a mystical part. It's the snake who convinces Eve to eat who convinced Adam to eat the apple.
Look at this.
Oh, this is great.
It was a great scene. How the beating I got that day was just extraordinary.
Yeah, they just kept throwing you into that fountain again and again. Watch this, where they.
Where is the eye of the serpent? Rexor says that you gave it to a girl.
See the snake that Sven has? That snake started to get bothered. And Sven grabbed it by the head, just like that kind of. And he looked at the snake, and he made the snake understand that even though the snake may bite him, in a fight the snake was going to lose. Here. He killed my snake.
Thorgrim is beside himself with grief.
He looks beside himself with grief, doesn't he?
He raised that snake from the time it was born.
You killed my mother. You killed my father. You killed my people.
And the herpetologist was great because he had these beautiful girl assistants. And they would always follow him around everywhere. This guy really knew what he was doing. And he had hundreds and hundreds of snakes. We were all given snakes each day as our personal snakes to wear. And this guy had these beautiful followers he was sort of like Thulsa Doom, the herpetologist.
After that they get crucified, right?
Yeah. This is great. This is what it is. This is Nietzsche. Flesh is stronger than steel.
That beautiful girl.
That was
What's
one of the
this?
herpetologist girls, I think. Another waste. We kill so much beauty in this movie.
That is strength.
This is power, he says here, right? I don't even know. I mean, this is power, not the sword, but having the mental control over people. That's power.
That wields it. Look at the strength of your body, the desire in your heart. I gave you.
I love this, that he is defined by hate and revenge.
Contemplate this on the tree of woe.
Is what made Conan strong, hate and revenge. Because that's what makes Conan interesting. He's not Superman. He's not some goody-goody guy.
Right. Oh yeah, here's the tree of woe. What is it? The tree of woe?
Yeah, and this is an ultimate Conan scene. It's actually from R.E. Howard. That is the whole spirit and essence of Conan, is that he's crucified on the tree of woe. He has no hope of living, and a buzzard comes down to pick at him. And with his last resources, he kills the buzzard. Because he's Conan. He will never give in.
I remember that like a week before we shot the scene, that buzzard was still alive. He was all filled with lice and all this stuff, and the medic had to give me always some alcohol to gargle because I bit into the neck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he says, just be careful, you don't get no poison or anything.
Oh,
like
God, I know. I remember that thing. That buzzard was so filthy.
That. Yeah, so here it is.
Look at that. But I mean, this is the essence of Conan. Every resource he has, he will fight to the end.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I remember.
You can't do take after take with a real live buzzard, but when it was picking at him, part of it was real there, and when he bit it.
It was a great shot, huh? The angles in this movie is really good. Now looking back at it, just such good camera angles and everything like this. This is fantastic.
I really needed a mission when Conan came down the road because I had made Big Wednesday, which was a very personal movie to me. And Big Wednesday was a total financial failure. I felt that the only possible honorable thing to do was to join the French Foreign Legion. And needless to say, I didn't join the Legion, and instead I did Conan.
Help is coming.
So he doesn't believe he saw him.
Exactly. So there's a mirage.
Yeah. Look at that wonderful Viking face she has.
Yeah. Look, I'm all burned to shreds. Remember that?
Yeah.
The whole body was burned from hanging there for days on that tree, and now she's asking him if he can perform some kind of a ritual, right?
Yeah. You were really burned from hanging on that tree.
Then I will pay them.
Look at her, that shot of hers, huh?
The idea is that everything that is exposed must have these incantations written, have stuff written on it so that the demons can't take the exposed parts. That's why he has this sacred writing everywhere, on every part of him. Otherwise, if his nose or ears were not written on, they would take the ears. Or his hands. I always find inspiration in John Ford. Ford is the most influential director to me, but not so much this one do I look to Ford, but more to Kurosawa and Bergman, I think, and some of the German directors of the 20s.
Sometime soon, perhaps tonight, they'll try to take him. And if they succeed...
If they succeed, you'll follow.
She's threatening him already with the dagger if he doesn't perform. Which movie did you take this from?
From Big Wednesday, that's right.
That's right. I love it.
Before we were about to shoot, I, came very close to getting an Academy Award for Apocalypse. And I was probably at the very height of my power in Hollywood then, and I had almost no power whatsoever. So nothing much. I mean, there was always kind of, to deal with me, they kind of had to wince. We had to shoot it about 3 times because we didn't get, the light didn't work right. It went out of focus because of this red, or because of this thing wouldn't quite work. It wasn't in the right position. Arnold had to keep getting wrapped up like that and painted.
Right, there's the ghost. You see that?
Yeah. I remember that when you did this, she'd jump on top like that. And Arnold said, "Be careful because I'm very exposed here."
Yeah, exactly. Look at all this, what do you call those?
The demons.
The demons. Who did the visual effects on that?
I forget who did it. It was... ILM did some of it, I know. I guess they did it all, yeah. Conan is a movie that has definitely got a singular vision in it. And directors don't do that today. They just shoot the movie, It's all how slick it can look, how clever, all that kind of thing. And as opposed to, whether you like this movie or not, it does have its own morality. It does have its own code of behavior, its own kind of look. I just think Basil's the best there is at what he does. I mean, I love his scores. Basil and I went to school together, and at USC, and Basil was one of the original undergraduate students that included me and George Lucas and Randall Kleiser. We were among the only 4 or 5 undergraduates at USC at that time. So we all kind of grew up together. Of all of us there, and there were a lot of filmmakers there then that became very good later, Basil was the only one who was finished right then. He could have written this score when he was at SC. I mean, I don't know if he could have written this score, but he could have written a great score. And it took years, really, until I did Big Wednesday to give him the chance to, do something.
This was such an extraordinary scene. I mean, the dedication that she has displayed there, to sit there and wait for a miracle to happen with total faith, and then to protect me from the spirits in the fight, which most people makes them run away when they see supernatural.
Yeah.
And she just went right in there in the middle of the supernatural and said, "I'm not going to lose him."
Yeah, and she will fight the gods. That's why she's so great,
Here's another great scene, which is like an
where he
idea.
realizes that he has life again and how precious life is.
But remember that scene in The One-Eyed Jack with Marlon Brando when he came back and he started to draw his gun again and work with his hand.
At his hand.
This was my motivation for that in that scene. It was like the way he did that, when he started slowly going through the movement with the gun, trying to figure it all out, how it works, and all those things. And so this is what I was trying to do here. love that always, putting the sword away in the sheet without looking down,
and
just putting it in.
At his hands that still have life that
Exactly,
can do this.
yeah.
The old man says the mountain of power is hollow. Also, Doom lives in the mountain.
What else does he say?
That in the back of the mountain there's a gorge. Many caves. Good thief could get in there.
So this is now with, I remember, with full determination to sharpen the sword so it hacks into Thulsa Doom and severs his head in no time.
I love the idea that they have the choice, see, here. Like he says, that they'll go get the girl, go steal the girl, do their job,
Mm-hmm.
But that can never substitute for blood vengeance.
Oh yeah, I'm looking not only for revenge at this point of what it did to my parents and to me, but also what just has transpired, because he basically had hung me on that tree to let me rot there and eaten by vultures. So that had to be.
But also that then he knows that he's put on Earth to kill Thulsa Doom.
Yeah. This is all Almeria, right? Or
Yeah.
Almerima, wasn't that?
No, this is Almeria here, right? Remember, this is where those dunes where they shot Lawrence of Arabia.
Exactly. Great sight, good weather, good for the tan.
Yeah.
Really hot. I mean, wow. Look at this countryside, huh?
Remember I tried to ride that horse up these rocks and the horse went right out from under me?
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, we are sneaking in from underneath, from behind. I put the war paint on. That's a great scene.
Now you see the cult of doom, and what they really are doing is, which is they're cannibals. They're eating people here. Look at all the people being hung up, prepared, and that it's a cannibalistic cult.
You must be smelling in there, huh?
That's what they do with the followers, is make stew of them.
Oh, they have this wonderful stew there with the thumb floating around on the top, remember?
Yeah, hands.
You threw the thumb in there and a few skulls and said, I want to see things floating around.
Trunks and feet.
And Dina said, you want to gross out of the people.
Yeah, see, there's a
look
nice,
at his corpse. This
nice
goes right
body
with the
being
tits.
hung up in there. Look at all the stuff pouring out of that. And
oh yeah, exactly. And they had to walk kind of in a marching step. You see? All in sync.
look at all the bodies hanging there.
That is wild. Now we're following them.
You know what's great is that the camouflage really does work, doesn't it?
Totally. You know.
Breaks up their shape.
Yeah.
As soon as they stop, they do disappear.
Yeah. Oh, this is where the orgy takes place.
Love their movement. Everybody's movement is really well planned. And
I see them banging, and then my eyes open up wide. So basically what he's doing is he's drugging everyone there.
Yeah.
And then he's killing them all. Here's their food for the day.
Some hand soup. Ooh, remember that leopard?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't get close to that leopard. It'd really take your hand off.
I know.
Here's the hand soup. Look at.
Oh no. I can't believe it. He is so sick, John. That is so funny. Look at the massaging that went on there. Remember, it was this ice cold cement bunker that Dino found where he made it into a studio.
It was a truck factory.
Yeah, a truck factory, and it was all empty. And then you build it up inside and build the stages and all those things. But there was no heater and no hot water. Remember, we had to take showers every day afterwards. And without any hot water, and we were like freezing to death, going in there and taking the ice cold showers.
Oh yeah, remember it got really cold some days.
Oh yeah, and then the women all were wearing fur coats and cloth and blankets.
They had to
and all
oil
this.
themselves, so they never got.
Look at this when he
warm.
becomes a snake.
That was done partially with a rubber model, and it just pushed out. And then, see, that's a rubber model of his face there. And then finally, we just show the snake. You just cut. It's just simple cutting to other things all the time. The snake was pretty big, the real snake. I mean, it was as big a snake as we could get, but that snake, that's great.
Look at this with the straps around it. Remember the way we designed it, that you take the strap off the shoulder of the sword, and then you just use it for being around the waist. So you can use it for the waist and or for the back or for the front. In either way, it was designed. Look how it comes out now.
Look at that. I love that snake.
And she's in ecstasy. She's in drugs.
Love those sandal moves,
Oh yeah, now comes the wild punishment. Yeah, she's really moves unbelievable.
Jerry too. He has a
No, here's another hand.
Yeah.
This was a hand, Stu.
Yeah,
You're right.
Hand.
Was this after the fingernails were cleaned or before?
Yeah. Split pea in hand.
Oh, it's getting closer and closer. This guy's gonna get it right away. Yeah. Go right into the soup.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Ow. Look how good those moves are. How good and clean everybody's moves are.
That was a good double move.
Blap.
Oh yeah, the head cutting.
It's not overdone, the blood. I like it. It's just enough that.
Oh, she's gonna get a beating.
She hits him with the head, or hits her with the head.
Oh yeah, here they are. Hey, you.
Oh, I love this. He pours this all out on these guys.
Here's the skull.
And this crack, see how it cracked the pillar there? So we know something's going to happen to the pillar. Should have gotten rid of him the first time. Too late now. Look at this hammer. It cracks it again. Boy, this sequence here took so long to shoot. It was because they're really swinging these things. Just barely missing each other and hitting each other like that.
That was a great scene.
Everything had to be timed just perfect.
Look at this whole thing coming down.
How big this stuff was.
Yeah.
Look at that thing just.
That was a great cut here.
He looks, what? I did that?
Yeah.
Look at that. This
Wow.
looked great.
I am powerful. Now we are taking her. That was Conan.
Yeah, that was poor Conan Angelo.
He's still around, huh?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
Yeah,
in a
he's in
while.
Aspen.
Now that she's killed them, easy meet these two. Look at while she just sits there and says, come on, let's see what you got.
That was funny the way she ran up and hacked the guy from behind.
She really did stab that guy right there. Remember that?
Oh, she did. She injured a lot of people.
You know, yeah,
She was
really
all
got
over the
that
place.
guy.
You remember fingers, fingers, hands were smashed.
Yeah,
and,
but that one in particular, she got him in the neck.
But the worst was Grace Jones and Conan too.
Really?
Oh, she damaged more people than you can think of. Look at this. That's funny. The thoughts of doom helping the guy. And now Sven says, I could not masturbate them at all, master. He said, no, it's that I could not harm them at all, master.
This worked pretty good with straightening the snake out, you know?
Yeah.
Well, he just pulled on the snake and then he just cut away and then he has another, another one that's straightened out. But it oddly enough, it works. It's simple.
Oh, this is the arrow. This was a great idea,
Right.
to have this arrow become a snake.
It's a heat-seeking, it's a sidewinder. It's a heat-seeking missile, see? See, and then when he pulls it out, he just takes the snake and pulls it from...
Yeah, and then it becomes a snake.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I told him I would pay the gods.
Oh yeah, here we go.
See? He just takes that and then... Isn't that great? That was terrific.
And she's gonna die now. Last time I see her, last kiss. And now she's going to... Isn't she saying like she's afraid and all that?
I'm so cold.
What was the reason now that we could not bring her back with that magic that they brought me back?
Well, you were not dead. You were just...
I know, but she is not dead at this point either. So
Yeah,
we were too far away to get him to Marco and then to get the same spell going.
Yeah. And besides, she's been, probably the snake is a more powerful thing. Probably.
Oh, maybe poisoned. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wouldn't work against the magic.
No, I remember that turned back.
Look at this. I love this pure Nordic thing of burning her pyre so that she becomes a Valkyrie. Look how good the hair looks in the wind,
Oh, I know.
Fire won't burn up there. No fire at all.
Yeah, he's there. Oh, now comes this attack.
So much of Conan is looks, because Conan is a person that by nature never says particularly much. He doesn't discuss emotions. He's Conan, and so much of it is just all these interesting looks of grief, of anger, of revenge, and then it all piles up on him.
Remember, this all was done. The scenes were all done after my big injury in my knee.
Yeah.
And I fell off the horse. I got this really injured knee, and he said I have to go and get surgery.
You could barely get up that.
Yeah, and then I had to kind of like struggle the rest of the movie the last month.
Yeah.
And all those scenes.
To get
you
down.
can tell on a walk. Look, I barely can get up there.
Getting down that thing was really tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really did hurt your knee, didn't you?
Oh, God. I had to get shots, cortisone shots, and pain-killing shots.
And everything. See, he tears off the pit fighters thing that he always had, and now he puts on the stone because he is always bound to her now. For the rest of his life, he will be bound to her. It's so much better, when you have stuff like this where it's unsaid. You know what I mean? I love this shot. This is a real Frank Frazetta shot.
Mm-hmm.
Him thinking. The whole idea is also of Conan is always thinking. Well, there was a scene that I always wanted to put in, and it was really kind of, we used to call it the Moby Dick scene. And there's a scene in Moby Dick where Ahab talks about what life had been if he had not been Ahab. If he had not been, why has Ahab been on the seas these 40 years, what has this done to him, always in pursuit, of some blind, dumb animal, of the deep, or something like this. And then, this curse to have taken my leg and made me pursue Moby Dick, and this kind of thing. And it's a wonderful, wonderful speech. And of course, I wanted to do a scene like that. So I wanted to do a scene where Conan talks, because you never have that in any movie. where the hero questions himself. And so I really love the idea of Arnold questioning himself, and everybody was against it because they said, well, he's not a good enough actor. He's not, and actually he did it just wonderfully. He really did it, you know, worthy of any actor. And he sits there and he questions, what kind of life is this? You know, what have I done for 20 years? What has been? And it's very powerful to have that before the final battle, because you know that this guy is not just a guy bent on revenge, and that he is a complicated character, and that there is a consequence to all this. So the new version is really a much deeper and resonant film.
We're getting ready for major war.
Yeah.
And the reason why we knew that they're going to attack is obviously because we have her imprisoned, we have her chained.
They have to come.
So it's like kind of like a trap.
Right. You have insulted them. They have to come. Thulsa Doom will have to come because he can never be Thulsa Doom again if he doesn't come.
Oh, look at
found
Marco.
all of this.
Yeah. These are all from Dead Warriors, right?
All the
dead. The gods are pleased with you. They will watch the battle.
Are they going to help?
No.
Well, then tell them to stay out of the way.
There's the spirit of Conan. If the gods are not going to help them, tell them to stay out of the way.
Exactly.
This is I love this shot that you can see him and them in perfect focus. I remember I got one of those little camera books to figure out how to do this shot. One of those little blue books that cinematographers...
What lens do you use for something like that?
It was like a long lens. I had to get way back.
But then with a long lens...
It was like 100 or something.
I know, but then how do you keep them in focus?
Well, by getting far enough back from him.
Oh, from me?
Yeah.
Got it.
From Jerry there, you know. And compressed everything, you know. But I remember reading it because the cameraman said I couldn't do that. I said, yeah, let me figure it out.
Right.
This is my favorite Conan dialogue right here.
Oh, and there's a crumb. Help me. So it's exactly the same attack as it was in the beginning.
Well, we hired Mr. Yamazaki because he was an all-around martial artist and particularly good with Japanese sword work. And I felt that Japanese sword work would be probably very important in this, and that we could, since it wasn't to be totally a real time, we could use things that echoed of other times, and that a sword master could have some of these moves. But basically what we wanted to do was create our own kind of martial art and create our own style of fighting, which I think we did pretty well. There. It's wonderful. Grant me revenge. Two stood against many. That's all that matters.
There's Ben Davidson.
I think it was about 10 days, this whole final battle.
I remember how long it took us to choreograph the whole thing. Remember?
Oh, yeah. And
he was sitting there with models,
with
models of that whole property, and then you kind of laid it all out, and then we went there and then choreographed it. he's coming when and all that stuff. I mean, there's so much commotion going on.
And then each one, when we'd finish it off, we'd mark an X on a thing on my side of my trailer. I mean, that was a tough stunt to do there.
There was a lot of tough stunts because there was a lot of injuries. Remember the one stunt guy had to get stitched up right there on the set, and a few hours later he was back again shooting.
Oh, yeah.
He's around 15, 20 stitches.
He's this guy who, not him, but the guy that rides up the side of the, that guy. That's Terry.
Terry Leonard?
Yeah. This guy, look at that. Yeah, they're all stunt horses. They're all trained to fall and stuff. See that guy fell that horse right there? He pulled it around so they crashed into the other like that. They're trained to do that. They practice all the time at that. So it doesn't hurt them. The horses actually get to like doing it after a while.
That was a wild fall.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that guy got hurt.
Yeah, I know. That maybe was the guy. Remember, because of the reins broke, so the horse smashed right into a rock.
Right, and the horses never got hurt, but that guy got. Terry Leonard was the second unit director and principal stuntman, but he did so much of the second unit. There's so many beautiful shots in this movie that are his. So many sequences that have pieces that, just couldn't have been done any other way, but then to, delegate that, to send it off, have somebody take the time to do it. And he and I worked so well, so closely together.
But that was the great thing about it, that you set up so many cameras on this scene here. You had like 3, 5 cameras sometimes, to cover it from all the different angles.
And if you use them well, you get 5 completely different things. I love this.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Boom.
That you really feel that it sticks through him, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
I love it I love Conan coming up. What's wrong here? Are you upset? Is there something I can do to help? Then here comes Rexor. Look at that, taking a big chunk out of the rock there.
I remember how many times I had to crawl on my elbows and knees.
Oh, look at this. I love this. There she is as a Valkyrie. She's temporarily blinded.
Do you want to live forever?
That's all just special, optical effects. Now these are real swords. So you can see the weight of those things. Watch how he breaks the sword. I mean, that's real steel. Boy, those are 9-pound swords. And to hit him perfectly. That's extremely dangerous. If we do that today, we wouldn't do that. You could never have done that sequence without much, much training.
Well, it was just so much training to make sure I don't hurt the guy's neck.
Yeah.
Because I had to hack in there really and with a real sword. So the practice really worked. Oh, he's killing her now.
But there's nothing that quite, when you see them swinging those real swords, it really shows. You can really see the strain and. There, he stops the snake.
She's so disappointed at him that he wanted to kill her, huh?
Yeah. I love this. He turns back to her.
This is his sword, his father's sword that he
his
made for
father's
him.
sword, right. And he hasn't seen it since he was a little boy. Which means that now that if the sword is broken, he can go on. But he has to use it to finish what he has to do.
And I'm back into the gladiator, the
And
pit
bowing
mode.
to her.
Yeah.
Look at this shot. I love this shot. Look at all those people. A lot of people down there. This was so cold up here, remember?
Oh, God, was it freezing. This guy was in heaven because he was fully clothed, but the other people were like shivering and freezing. And how many people did we use there?
Well, there was about 700 or 800, and then we put more just, lights out there, too.
Oh, that's right. And now you could CGI all those people in,
Yeah,
right?
you could have the whole thing. I love this sort of image here of just him moving through here. Just moving through with her. Killing and...
Yeah, she really got betrayed.
I didn't think of the violence, and I didn't think of, gee, how can I show more violence or less, or, heads splitting open or anything like that. I thought of it just being very faithful to what would have been expected in a pagan time. That if the violence should be violence that would have been expected and tolerated in the Greek theater. And no more, no less than that. So you don't dwell on any of the violence, because in the Greek theater you wouldn't. It'd be too far away. But it's there. There is blood. There is, what's happening to people. And it's very realistic. It's that, people don't make wisecracks, that violence is taken with great gravity. Death is very powerful, is a powerful force in the movie that's wandering through the movie.
This is so well written. Who did you base this cult on? There was some mass killing somewhere.
No, Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, exactly.
Yeah. I love these. This is great, this version, because it's got her in it, and you really understand what it is that she's taking him back, and it makes it much more powerful than the other version where she's not in it. Where she's,
in the other version, she's not in it?
No, he just sneaks up there, but that she's taking him back, showing him the way. And I love this, the idea that he defines, he says, you wouldn't have,
Child, you have come to me, my son. For who now is your father if it is not me?
Because he is his father, in essence. He's what made him.
Right.
I am the wellspring from which you flow. When I am gone, you will have never been. What will your world be without me? My son.
Now I get hypnotized.
Yeah.
See him looking down.
Because he's telling the truth.
Yeah. And then I catch myself, but I don't let him know that I have my act together again. Because the next thing I do is to kill him.
Because the sword is stronger. love this idea. There's a ritual taking of the head. Showing them the head.
Yeah. Oh, brutal, huh? Where the head rolls down. Great music.
I love this. I just love this sequence. Because he's cleaned now. He's completely cleaned of his past, of his vengeance, of everything that built him so he can go on anew. He's like the sword, but the blade is clean. And now they clean themselves. Extinguish the flame.
Beautiful, I love that. And this was the very moment where Conan could have taken over the leadership right there.
He could have done whatever he wants.
He would have become king.
Now, see, I love it that he's thinking again, because Conan is an intellectual.
But it ties it together with that scene we shot in London. Remember, with the beard, kind of like brooding and thinking, and
but I mean,
what
he
you should do.
stays there. Because Conan's a man of deep philosophies and deep, powerful emotions. He's not a superhero. Look at there. I love this shot. There she is waiting for him because she wants another god. And he finally sees, he's finally thought it out. There, and knows he has to go on. And she sort of bows to him. Yeah, this is the ending I always wanted, because it is that he has to cauterize this place with fire, and then he has to show her that she can have no other, no leader. She has to find her own way. Even though he takes her back, she has to find her own way. He cannot be her god. And he knows when he throws this that his throw will be true, because he knows it is his destiny to clean this place, to burn it, that the evil has to go.
That's right.
Well, the ending wasn't used because Universal felt, well, as soon as Thulsa Doom's killed, we have to get to the ending right away. And for American audiences, we don't care about her or any of this stuff. We just, care about getting Conan to the next Conan movie. And I think it's really important, this whole thing, that she comes to meet him, bow and give herself over, and he says, you can have none of this. He just walks right by. And then she sees that he isn't there, that he isn't going to, and that everything, that was supposed to be so strong just burns away. Then he offers to take her, to lead her out. All he's going to do is take her back to her father, because that's all he can do.
Remember how it turned daylight just at that moment? How this
just
twilight?
At that moment, yeah, when we were burning the place.
Look at that flame, huh?
Look at that.
Now I'm carrying her off. Or is she carrying me?
No.
Look at the sun ray
Yeah.
rays there. That's beautiful. What a great, here's the shot from England.
And see, this was, the whole idea was this was the start of a trilogy. And that you would finally come to this at the end of the, by the third movie.
But this was to see it like that again is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And like I said, the angles and the way the story unfolded and the emotional ups and downs and the revenge and the obstacles to get there. And it's everything like you said. It's about the character that on the end I was strong enough to take him on because I have just overcome all those obstacles.
Yeah, that it's really not just a simple story. It's about, so much. It's about, what makes us what we are, and what you, that you have to go on, be yourself. You have to, that there's so much in Conan that is so unfinished and so uneven and rough. And, Conan is not an easy character to just kind of, take in and say, oh yeah, he's just a big, strong, good-natured superhero. He's not that guy on television, Hercules or whatever.
Right.
He's, he likes combat. He is brutal. He's not completely sure of anything.
Well, now, having seen this movie and how wonderful it looks and how well it plays, I think it's obvious we have to do a third one.
Absolutely. Look at, like, I love the artistic integrity of this movie, just that nice Japanese symbol at the end, that is the Thulsa Doom thing, how great that looks, that Ron Cobb was so good and so consistent in everything he did, and that Dino, gave us enough money that we could do all that. We could actually, there was nothing that we really needed. There's no amount of money more would have made it any better. And it really is Wagnerian.
Hasta la vista, baby.